Now I'm gonna say this, okay? I think y'all get the gist of the conversation. All right. But a lot of times when we as melanated men are able to gain success, whenever we're able to make something of ourselves, come from nothing. People didn't believe in us. Women didn't want to date us. They thought we were lame, right? When we're able to make something of ourselves and we get to the pinnacle of success, that's when a lot of these types of women want to date us, And I understand that there are men out there, melanated men, who go after non-black women just because they just like non-melanated women.
I'll say this much. It's always slavery talk until Bradley rides in to save Shanae and Wanda rolling on the floor laughing.
Well, they're always going to bring that up. They're always going to bring that up because it's easy to bring up the ills of what we do. It's always easy to bring up how we as men are messing up. But when we make something of ourselves, it's almost like we owe them the debt of gratitude from the work that we've put in. And I just don't think that that's fair. You have guys out here who work hard and they're around people who aren't black. They attend schools where there are not a lot of black people. They work with non-melanated women, and those women do treat them differently than the women they've dealt with because those women are feminine. Those women know what they want. They want a man who is successful. They're not picky. The Claudia Jordans of the world, Lisa Rays of the world, even the Selena Johnsons of the world, they are very picky women. And because they are very picky women, they tend to choose the wrong guys for the wrong reasons. There are women who are hung up on things that are just silly to me. And that's through the programming, through the music, social media, which has these unrealistic expectations. This is why you have women out here who don't even need to get surgeries. They're out here getting surgeries because they're trying to look a certain way to attract a certain type of guy. But let me tell you what's going to happen when you're out here chasing, these guys who clearly don't respect you, who have no love for you, who are only going to use you. And when they're done using you, they're going to move on to another woman. That's just a fact. Okay? And that's why you will have women sitting up here blaming us, pointing the finger at us, instead of them looking at the choice that they made in their relationships. The fact that they only wait till they're in their 40s and, they're pretty much done as far as their careers or when it comes to the type of men that they've always given themselves to, because that's what happens in those situations. They give themselves to these men. And what I would want to know is why is it that you have so many women dating men they have to build up, men who are broke? I mean, if a guy can't afford to pay his own bills, live in his own house, drive his own car, why are you dealing with him? That don't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. But it does to a lot of women. That's why I don't take any accountability, because in their minds, he should have had his shit together before they got together. Even though you knew this about this guy, and you thought that because you think that you're smarter than everybody else, that you're gonna make him into what you want him to be, and it never happens. You end up single again. I was looking at Angela Simmons' page. Well, she has some photos that went viral, posts. And she put up this post about, how she's proud of her natural body and how she didn't have to pay for it. And I know she was calling out the fake body females, but she looked very unhappy in those photos. And a lot of her recent photos, she never smiles, And some people are good at hiding their emotions, some aren't. And you can tell a lot about people by their expressions. Like, you should be happy to be alive. You should be happy to be able to do what you love to do, live the life that you want to live. But a lot of times when women realize that they've made the wrong choices, it tends to linger in them to the point to where they're in their 40s talking about how men are the ones who need to change and how men are the ones who are messing up, how, men have to do better. They have to be more accountable. Y'all got to understand, they're not talking about the majority of men. They're talking about the 15 to 20% of men who most women chase. Those are the men they're talking about. And good luck trying to get those men to change. They're not. They've already gotten you twice over. They don't feel the need to change, And I think it's unfortunate that you also have married women who are sort of stuck in that rut. Shout out to Terry Good. They're stuck in that rut because of the fact that they have not been able to look themselves in the mirror.
Full score.
Full score. And listen, people, once again, I'm going to say this. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. Live your life the way that you want to live it, but you have to be accountable for the decisions that you make. Say whatever you want about Steven Jackson, right? But the one big difference I've noticed with Steven Jackson and then with the women who talk about how men need to be more accountable is that he is being accountable for the decisions that he made. At least he's taking that step forward. There are a lot of women, they will not take accountability because they think because they have because of the what's between their legs, they think they don't have to be accountable, that there's always going to be a man out there for them, even though there's more men, there's more women than men. And there's a lot of women going after a small amount of men. So unless you're going to get into relationships where you're a sister wife, you need to understand that you need a guy who in the long term is going to be beneficial instead of somebody who just fits what you think a man should look like or what he should be. Because if that guy doesn't have his shit together, it's going to put you behind the 8 ball. It's going to set you back years. One decision can set you back years. You putting mileage on your body with the type of men you deal with. Mileage that you can't get back. No matter what you say or do, you can't get that back. Okay? I don't care how long you be celibate. If you've been screwing around with a whole bunch of different guys, casually or in relationships, and none of those relationships work, it's going to psychologically damage you. You may not know that it's psychologically, damaging you, but it is damaging you. Okay? It really is. And I think that when you get to an age where you're basically close to hitting the wall, you're going to realize that. You may not realize it now, but you will realize it then. Okay? We have to stop playing this blame game. I'm not even blaming, all women, for my experiences with women. I treat people on an individual basis because there's no template to judge everybody, through one lens. I wouldn't want people blaming, me for everything that goes on. Just like I don't think that you should talk about things if you have not taken the chance to be accountable for the decision that you made that didn't work out. I'm the type of person, I'm willing to say where I messed up at. I'm willing to be honest with myself and honest with other people. I'm not going to sit here and complain about all women. Now, there's some guys that do that. I think those guys are idiots if you sit there and try to blame a whole group of people for what women do on an individual basis. Now, can you say that there's a majority of women who go in a direction of singledom? Yes. If you look at the out of wedlock births, in the black community, there are a lot of women who are single mothers in the black community, and a lot of them are getting with the same guys. Like, you got one guy with multiple baby mothers. Okay, we know this. I think that if you're happy, you're not concerned about what everybody else is doing. You're just not. You're not concerned about who's doing what. You're not concerned about protection, because first off, why are you complaining about men you don't know protecting you? You should worry about your husband protecting you.
Scissor Jaye, I agree.
Appreciate that, Era Black TV. Shout out to you. Shout out to Chief Rocker.
Peace, bro. So will all of the Instathought City Girl clones and housewives of blank take? That is why 3,040 women are beefing and are disgruntled.
I don't see it. Some are. Some women are starting to turn the corner and really be accountable, but a lot of them aren't, because they have, because they are women and they have access, they give access to relations. They don't think that accountability is needed, because in their minds, there's always going to be a man who's going to choose on them. They believe that. They believe that until they get older and older and they're single and they're alone, and men don't approach them the same way. Men don't pursue them, especially the men they want, don't pursue them the same way. That's when they'll have that epiphany. Now, it can be the epiphany of accountability, or it can be of blaming. And if you are a woman who's relatively attractive, there should be no reason why you can't get a man who makes money, who's not broke, who's not destitute, who do not live off women. But those guys just don't have that extraness that women of today are looking for, because you have a lot of dysfunctional women out here who look for the wrong things in men because that's a turn on for them. They're looking for what turns them on more than what's going to financially secure them and, that gives them that safety and security that they're looking for. Men are starting to wake up more and more. And I think that's alarming to women who are not taking the chance to become accountable,